Manchester City 6, Manchester United 3. Just sounds crazy saying it. This is a player rating show. I mean, look, it's not going to be difficult to do this, is it? It's not going to take long to do this because the players were so bad today and the performance was absolutely shocking. Let's start with David De Gea. I mean, to be fair, he just had to keep picking the ball out the net. In the first 2 minutes, he makes a big save to just even keep us in there, to make sure we don't concede in like the first 120 seconds of the game or whatever it was. But what rating would you give him is very difficult, isn't it?
Just before I give the rating, I just want to say my condolences to the fans in Indonesia who lost their life in the football game. It's very, very upsetting, and it's heartbreaking that football fans went to a game and they didn't go back to their families. It's a lot of people as well, and there's a lot of Indonesian fans for Man United, so my thoughts are with them. I just want to say that before.
Absolutely.
I forgot.
We echo that, yeah.
And with David De Gea, listen, I gave corn to Dean Henderson for collecting 6 against City with a poor defence, and David De Gea had a great defence and still collected 6. So you have to keep the same energy, and David, for me, gets absolutely 0. He could have saved that shot from Foden, if you ask me, near post. His physicality, his ability, his attributes, is everything about those type of saves, and he could have saved that for me, and he didn't even be able to save that. So yeah, I just have to give him a 0.
Not many players are going to get even a mark today, but is it fair to give David De Gea a 0?
Yeah, I mean, maybe like a 1 at best. I mean, there was a little bit of a weird part where, we had to mark man for man in a corner, and about 3 players, Bruno then tells Malacia to mark near post, De Gea tells him to mark near post, and then also I think it was Martinez, who I think was one of our best players, also told him to mark near post. But they were all telling him different parts of the near post area to mark, and then Haaland goes and scores a header there, and Malacia has to try and block it off the line. So you want your goalkeeper to be in charge of that situation and mark his goal properly and how he wants to be it done. So just little things like that. But yeah, 1.
Do you agree? 0 and a 1? Or
0.5.
no points, whole numbers only, whole numbers.
Nah, we'll give him a 1. Look, he made a couple of saves. But again, he just got annihilated at the back.
Yeah, it's harsh. I'm not gonna. There shouldn't really be much in this where you're battling to give people high. But I would have given him a little bit higher than that, because I just feel like the players in front of him absolutely left him exposed. They rained in on him. The first goal, it's a tap in, back stick. The third goal the second goal for Haaland, De Bruyne pass. De Gea can't do anything about that. Haaland hat-trick goal, couldn't do it. I don't think De Gea, apart from the one from Foden that you said that went down the middle, I just don't think David De Gea could have done anything different today. Like, his team literally just served him up on a plate and said, "Hey, keep having shots."
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
So I actually would have just given De Gea like a 4 or something like that. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
Let's get to the players now. This is where it's going to get quick. Diogo Dalot today.
That's a 1 performance for sure. He had been doing so well of late, building up the performances and seeing the quality, but you can see in comparison to the likes of Cancelo or something like that, in the flesh, you can just see the quality difference. And for us to get to that calibre, he might need to be replaced for sure. But, today, if we're talking about this particular 90 performance, 90 minutes, so then, 2.
Does everyone agree with that, so we can move on? Or?
Yeah. I just wanted to say we shouldn't be bringing up conversations of, is Dalot one of the best right backs in Europe right now, especially after today. This is what you lot need to understand. This thing that we were doing during international break, saying this, that, the other, no, we can't. And I loved him for that challenge, but ever since then it just went downhill for him, because he had to be cautious, didn't he?
Yeah. Let's go to centre back. I'll go to you. Varane obviously came off injured as well, but was 4-0 down at half time as well. So what would you give him?
Give him a 2.
Yeah,
I think a 2 is acceptable. We were exposed at the back, and again, when he went injured, it just got even worse.
Yeah,
it just got even worse. And to be fair, the ref, the fouls that what we conceded was just poor. But 2 and 2, or 2.
Does everyone agree with that?
Yeah.
2. Martinez.
For me, one of our best players. If we're going to be balanced and give De Gea around a 3-4, I would say, a 4 for him. Was making a lot of blocks and a lot of tackles, obviously to no avail. He has to trust his back 4 and the rest of the players in that line, and even his midfield to help ease the pressure from him. But, was trying to make passes, a lot of loose passes. We were talking about that as well, a lot of loose passes from him. But I would say a 3 or 4.
Yeah, 3 for me. Nothing special from him. I would have thought he would have done better, but then I think with Varane limping, injured, stretching and this, that, with Dalot's yellow card, it's just all a mess. And 3's fair.
Tyrell Malacia.
Man, Malacia let me down, man.
He had a bad
Malacia
one.
let me down, man, because I love that kid with all my heart, man, and he let me down from the get-go. He just, like you said, rabbit in the lights or whatever. He didn't look comfortable on that pitch. He just looked like he wasn't there. He didn't want it. It's a 1 from me because I expect way better from him.
Yeah, that's well said. 0, I would say. Even just looked out of Foden scored him today, and you could just see the caliber. He just scored him today. Was just in awkward positions, putting yourselves in blind spots, putting yourself in places where you have to make the decision, and even little things like controlling the ball out of play. Wasn't making his aggression and his tenacity, stamping his authority in that position.
Do you think Ten Hag was protecting him, taking him off at half-time, bringing on Luke Shaw? Obviously, Luke Shaw, experienced player. You're 4-0 down. Obviously, he was on a yellow card as well. Malacia, that was thanks to, I think, Rashford, give him a bad pass and he goes sliding in on someone. But do you think Ten Hag was protecting him?
I think Ten Hag did the right thing. Look, Malacia is obviously still young for us. He's got a lot to learn. Luke Shaw's obviously played in the derby, so he's got the experience. But for me, Malacia, obviously, we love the kid. But for me, I'd give him a 2.
Yeah.
2.
Into midfield, Scott McTominay.
Oh man, I'm never one of those people. We were talking about Rashford's poor pass. We trusted Scott in that position to start the build up, and then he's making 2 combination passes, then loses the ball as well again in the first half. Wasn't stamping his authority on this game as well. Again, just looked out of his depth. One of those players today that looked out of his depth. So a 2.
Was that the one where where people are it's Casemiro, when's he going to play, etc., and you're kind of saying, well, you're sure that Ten Hag will look at it when something goes wrong in that area and look towards Casemiro. Do you think that might be now off the back of that, or do you think he just tries to get confidence out of them again? But then the next game is midweek against Omonia, so
so if we're talking about Premier League games, Flex, I actually don't think he will change it. I think he'll go with the same. I think he wants to see a reaction from them. I think that's more of a Scott McTominay game against Everton where there's fighting combativeness needed. And he needs to learn from this. We were out of our depth here. They clearly are superior to us. So I think Ten Hag might balance that out and he'll keep the team.
Okay. McTominay, what are you giving him out of?
Yeah, 2, man. 2.
Poor.
Yeah, absolutely. He was supposed to be the crucial player for us today, controlling Kevin De Bruyne, using that physicality of his, but he came off earlier, so he didn't play that full 90. So yeah, not happy with him.
Christian Eriksen.
Man, he was missing all game. He was missing. Couldn't find the tempo. Couldn't get the ball to anyone. At times he had to drop in, and we almost played like 5 at the back at times. And I think he, as soon as he had the ball, Man City did what they had to do is close in on him straight away and don't let him look up and find anyone, because that's what he's good at doing. And again, who do you blame, right?
The only good thing he did was I think he's the one who pings it to Anthony.
Yeah.
And then Anthony takes that touch, comes inside, but he still had a lot to do from the pass. But other than that, you're right.
Yeah, but Eriksen, we know what he can do. Yeah. Again, 2 from me. 2, 3 from me.
You going with that as well? 2?
I'll go with a 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1.
We always give Eriksen the credit. Like Eriksen does what he's got to do. Just plays the simple passes, the easy balls. But today it was just quiet from him. We didn't see much.
Bruno Fernandes.
Eriksen's meant to be coming in. Yeah, Eriksen's meant to be coming in as like our KDB, finding those clever passes, breaking those lines for us. And Bruno's meant to be clinical and assured in that final third for us, and productive. He was none of those things, losing the ball for us as well. I think it's a 1. I'm being nice with a 1 most probably, but poor from him today.
0. Couldn't find Rashford at all. Pinging balls in random areas. Again, having shot from miles away that doesn't make the keeper even work a little bit. Yeah, really, really poor. He's forcing from the get-go.
It's like the old Bruno, isn't it?
Yeah, he's just forcing everything. Just slow down a bit for a second. Just take a touch, look up, and then make the pass, rather than just looking at the ball and just pinging it anywhere. So yeah, 0 for me.
Let's get to the front 3. Let's start at Anthony.
He's for me, he was the best player on the pitch because he started the goal and tried to get us a bit into the game, and it was an amazing goal as well against Edison. You can't take that away from the kid at all in a derby game as well. So I'd give him a 5 for that. Because overall the game was shit, but I'd give him a 5 for that.
Yeah, and even before he did that, especially in the first half, I was really underwhelmed by him. Like, he was kind of getting it, not really trying to take anybody on, and it is part of the team setup as well. But that feeds into that whole confidence thing of the whole team. They just didn't believe they could do it, and obviously he was part of that. But I agree there. A 5 for Anthony, would you say?
I'll give it a 5 to Anthony. Anthony, and obviously we'll get to Martial, but they were our standout players, but again, Anthony 5. He again, like Ericsson, just plays the simple balls, and even when City were trying to attack them and put pressure onto him, he just played it simple, and that's what we needed to do. But again, obviously, it's difficult to take in, man. But 5.
I would say hugely underwhelming. 3. They didn't produce enough quality for me. You know, crossing wasn't good enough. You know, he does score a goal, but you know, it was just to no avail. So
Rashford.
Marcus, man, you know, again looked really lethargic. Last season he had a game where he just at this exact same ground where he looked like he didn't care. You know, was walking around, head down, moping a little bit. So you know, it just looked like more of the same from him, really. That's a 1 as well.
He's not the answer up front. End of story. There's no two ways about it.
But on the flip side of that, when we played against Liverpool, when we played against Arsenal, and he played well, his confidence was up, and the whole team played better. And even before this, we were like, we need Rashford. We need somebody in there to run in behind something. Like, I'm not saying he's a long-term answer, but did you not think that at the time? That at least he's getting a bit of a, player of the month. You know, he's scoring goals, he's getting assists.
The thing is, players can score goals when the team is playing good, but that does not mean the forward looks scary to defenders. That's where I'm coming from. Does Marcus Rashford scare defenders? Let's be real.
I think he can when he's at his best.
Well, he tried. He made loads of runs today. I saw him running a lot today compared to the last time he was here. So kudos to him for that. But he had a heavy touch on the ball when he could have had a softer touch when Bruno passed it to him. Sancho trying to find him a couple of times, and he's been marked, whether that's City's defence, you want to call it, whatever. But if you're asking him to play up front, he should be a little bit more clinical, and he should be a bit more scary, a bit more aggressive, just a bit more, to be honest. And he didn't. That's just the end of it. And I'd give him a 2, to be honest.
At best. You agree with that one?
I agree with that. Rashford, for me, again, he was just invisible. I couldn't see Rashford on the pitch today. There was nothing from him. I love Rashford. I love him as a player, but today I couldn't see him on the pitch. There was nothing from him. There's no passion. There's no fight. I couldn't see anything from him personally. I'll give him a 1.
Did I start with you?
Yeah, you did.
I can't remember.
Yeah, neither can I.
It's a blur, mate. It's a blur. And Sancho.
Sancho, I mean, in the first half, I think he gave an opportunity. Yeah, it was really bad. Gave an opportunity to Ericsson though, and Ericsson buckled. But just 1v1s, we don't have no breaking line pace. You know, Anthony and Sancho. There was a time where the ball did break for him, and then I think it's Cancelo that catches up with him, and clears the ball off him. I don't know. Just not good enough again today. And last season he done well. I think he scores in the 3-1.
Yeah.
So he was one of the players that I had down. You know, Martial would score, Sancho would score, Rashford would come in today. But it's just like none of them really played well today. And you know, he's a number 1. He's a 1 rating.
Sancho involved in it again. Same sort of thing. Same sort of low rating. Can't really disagree with much of that, can you?
No, but I do think I have to say one thing is Sancho looks better on the right, considering when Dalot overlaps. He always looks to get that overlap, and today he didn't have that overlap. And you saw him trying to beat the fullback 1v1 and trying to find Rashford, and he's trying to stop and think, and then he just goes for an easy pass. I'm not saying he has to be a man. I'm not saying that, but there are fundamentals depending on where you play on the pitch. For example, fullback, you should be able to make a slide tackle, should be able to defend. That's why people get onto Trent. With Sancho, he should be able to be a bit more confident to be a player 1v1. That's just how you put it, and he can, and he needs that overlap. So I don't know what Ten Hag. That's why he probably brought Luke Shaw on. But yeah, 1 from me, man. Should have done better. But he ran a lot today, so I appreciate him for that as well. He put a shift in.
Martial.
Look, Martial, stocks are up. He came in, gave his 2 goals, whether that be a little header and a penalty, but he clearly caused some problems for City. And you know the sad thing is, I wish he started. I wish he started and made his name. I wish he started and had this impact early on, and it was 3-2, you know, something like that, but it wasn't. So I don't know what to give him. For the 2 goals, I'd give him a 5. You know, he got his 2 goals, so at the end of the day, it reflects on his goal tally. So yeah.
Martial.
Yeah, I agree 5. I agree 5. You know, came in, had a decent contribution. Maybe should have started, but him and Rashford end up risking their body in this game. So, you know, 5 overall for what he's done.
Is there a bit that he can, you know, if you're looking, it's hard to draw any positives from this, but trying to get him back fit and firing and confident is that maybe one?
Very essential to the team and how we're playing. We didn't play well at all, but someone like him that tries to connect play, came in deep into the midfield lines as well. And then little tap-ins like that, he does, you know, he got there before the defender scored, and the penalty was good as well. So, yeah, okay. Positive there.
And Eric Ten Hag, quickly. He set the team out the best he could. He's been saying that's not the team that I recognise. I need to find answers. It's not really on him today, is it?
Well, I can't. I'll give him a 5.
Yeah.
I'll give him a 5 along with Anthony. Look, he set out the tactics. I feel like the players didn't do enough to his standards. So it's not Eric Ten Hag at fault. It's the players at fault.
Cool. And lastly, just give me a number, Luke Shaw.
Just before Luke Shaw, I have to say Eric Ten Hag, he gets a 2 from me because his players didn't turn up, but that's your job as a manager. I'm going to be critical here. I am sorry, but he has to inject some venom into the players and get them ready for this game. So
Don't say cross that white line, no fast. That's
I know, but
that's
still.
unacceptable.
Yeah, I know, but still, but it's Ten Hag, and he should be the one leading them into war, into battle, really. So for him to say that the players didn't turn up, I appreciate that. I totally agree. I understand, but like I say, he should have done maybe something differently, and he'll learn from it. He'll learn from it for sure. Luke Shaw, I don't know what to say. Very small. I'll just give him a 1. Nothing really from me.
Yeah, Luke Shaw 2.
1.
There you have it. That's the player ratings. Slim pickings. Let us know what you guys think. But was it all 0? But we do need some calm. We need to reflect on this. The players need to respond very, very quickly because we can't keep playing like that in this process and trying to rebuild. Let us know what you guys thought.